good, the bad, and the odd. Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Odd with your hosts, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hey.
Right, so Star Wars again, Rebels Season 2. First aired in June 2015 through to 2016. Probably, January or something, I would imagine. Let me just have a look. Oh no, actually it's 26 episodes. March, run through to March.
Yeah.
So it was on weekly. But we crammed them. We've crammed them, these ones, haven't we? And you've seen all these before, haven't you?
Yeah.
22 episodes we're going to be covering, so we'll be rattling through this. However, before we get into all that, we did get some feedback on the Facebook group. Bruce Hannon, who I think it's his birthday on the day this day of recording. I think I saw a Facebook post saying it was his birthday, so happy birthday, Bruce. So
happy birthday.
Yeah, and what he says is, since you mentioned the final episode of The Big Bang Theory on the last episode of The Comfy Chair, and although it was a fitting end and probably time to end, I was still a little sad. Also, since Sam got you an Al Bundy pop vinyl for Father's Day, yes, he did. I don't know if anyone who hadn't seen the Facebook won't know that, but yeah, I posted it on Facebook. I thought it would be interesting to see or hear you and Sam's or anyone else's favourite non-animated American sitcoms. So we kind of come up with some of ours. But in fact, I've included, I think, one animated among... No, actually two, thinking about it. Animated among mine, because I completely missed the fact she said non-animated. But I've got quite a long list. Here's my top 10-ish, he says. Try to do 5 old and 5 new. So number 10 for him is MASH, which is way before your time, right?
Yep. I only know of it. Never seen it. So.
Number 9, The Modern Family. Number 8, Roseanne, which back in the day used to be really good, but really fell off the cliff in the last, I think, season. Really fell off the cliff. Though it's back, isn't it, as The Connors, though Roseanne's not in it, because racist tweeted or something. 7 is The King of Queens. 6 is Married with Children. 5, Community. No, I don't know Community at all. Do you know it?
I've heard it's really good, but I've never actually seen it.
I might give that a try, because it's the only one I don't know anything about at all on this list, funnily enough. Number 4 is Friends. Solid shout there, I'd say. Number 3, Parks and Recreation.
Yep.
Number 2, Curb Your Enthusiasm. Now, I've seen one of these, and I thought it was all right, but I think it's one of those you have to... The more you watch it, the funnier it is. It's one of those.
Yeah.
It takes it's got a certain taste and tone to it. Number 1, The Office. He really likes the American Office. That's interesting. Honourable mentions, Seinfeld. Never seen a single episode of Seinfeld.
The couple of episodes I've seen of it were really funny.
Yeah, I've heard it's really funny, but the problem is he looks a bit like Tony Blair to me. And I just can't stand that thought, you know. Brooklyn 911, which I've not seen the first 3 or 4 seasons, but I am watching
you mean
now.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Did I say...
It's called the show is Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
That is funny, because I always call it... That is really weird, because I keep calling it Brooklyn 911, because I mix it up with Reno 911. But I always call it Brooklyn 911, but it's actually Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But Bruce has also put Brooklyn 911, which is super weird. That is super weird. How strange. Alf?
Yeah.
Alf? I mean, back in the day, we used to like Alf, didn't we? Apart from that terrible, worst Christmas special ever. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Really bad. I mean, what the hell were they thinking? Kind of way. It's so depressing. Scrubs. Now, you like Scrubs, right?
Scrubs is really good.
Yeah, Scrubs. So that might be on your list, but we'll not presume. How I Met Your Mother, which I've watched a bit of. Is all right. And Sledgehammer, which I love Sledgehammer, but it didn't actually.
I've seen the first episode of it.
Oh, Sledgehammer is so good, so 80s, very, very 80s. Yeah. So let's go through our list. Shall I go through mine first, and then you?
Yeah, okay. All
right. Well, I made a massive list, but I actually then cut it down. So I'm just going to read my top 10. I did say to Sam when I first got it, think of a top 5, but when I started writing down, I actually came up with a top 10 in the end. And I've got a few. Right, for my number 10, I've got The American Office. I really quite like that. My number 9 is South Park, which is animated, but man, it's consistently good. It never flags. Number 8, I've got The Goldbergs. I really like The Goldbergs. Though, of course, I think these list will tend to skew to something more modern because you kind of forget stuff, right? Number 7, I say new. Number 7 is The Munsters. I really like The Munsters. And I was a toying cross between The Munsters and The Addams Family. But there's something about Herman and Lily that I feels kind of sweet, while The Addams Family is just a bit odder. Though I still think The Addams Family is a really good sitcom, but I just prefer The Munsters. It edges it for me. Number 6 is another real old one, Bilko. Phil Silver
that's
show.
really funny.
Bilko is super funny and stays funny. Number 5. Now this I decided on a Matt Groening one, and it was Simpsons or Futurama really. Disenchantment or whatever it's called. I've only watched a couple of, and it was all right, but I never felt the urge to go back to it. But I'm going to say, of the two, I prefer Futurama. Though Simpsons is elite too. There's no doubt about it. But I don't want to put both in because it'd be boring.
Early Simpsons is really good. Modern Simpsons is pretty dire.
I've heard it's still pretty good. It's just not up there with the best.
There's the odd episode that's quite good. Like there's one that's sort of like, it's just like, wonder where we'll go from now, and it they fast forward 20 years in the future.
Okay.
And they're just it's just them living their current lives, like Bart's a divorced
but old
father sort of thing, and Lisa's I think she's a college professor. Maggie's a singer who busts her vocal cords so she doesn't actually have any lines, which is kind of funny. So, it's got some really good ones, but then there's some absolute dire stuff.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't watch Modern Simpsons, so I don't know.
I tune in every so often.
Okay. Number 4, I think it won't make many people's lists, but man, this was a great show. Third Rock from the Sun.
Yeah.
Really like Third Rock. John Lithgow. Well, the whole cast are really good, but John Lithgow in particular is exceptionally good, comedically, Number 3, I got Parks and Rec. So one on Bruce's list. Number 2, got Friends. Now a lot of people, Friends is such a perennial. It comes and goes where people diss it and then come back to it. But man, I'll tell you what, first season of Friends is some of the best writing I've ever seen. It's so consistently good. It's right. And number 1, probably no surprise to anyone, for me, Married with Children. Right, Married with Children.
Okay.
Obviously.
Yeah.
What's your list then?
My list is Scrubs.
Okay.
It's in no particular order. It's Scrubs, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Parks and Rec, arguably BoJack Horseman.
You really like BoJack Horseman, don't you? Which I haven't really watched.
Such a good show.
Okay.
And what I've seen of The Office.
The Office. You like The Office? The Office is great because of the character. It's a bit like Parks and Rec. What really makes it is the characters.
It's the same writer. The guy who plays Mose is the head writer for Parks and Rec.
Absolutely, but it's just some of the key characters are so good in The Office, and they kind of refined that and tweaked it and made it even more solid in Parks and Rec. Dwight Schrute is one of the great comedy characters.
Yeah. I'd really love to sit down and watch the entire
series. Yeah, I have done it twice.
Cannot sit through Michael's cringy stuff.
Oh, that is a real problem. Yeah. That is. If you don't like that, it's a problem.
Hey, you want to get started on The Office? I'm like, yeah, okay. Where are we starting? He goes, yeah. There's this episode called Scott's Tots. Oh my god, that was
is that where he tells everyone he's going to give them a scholarship, and when it actually comes up he hasn't got any money, and it's so horrible. I don't mind it. I mean, the thing is, I've watched a British Office, and compared to David Brent, Michael Scott's an angel. David Brent's a much more horrible character, so it kind of, Michael Scott I don't mind, though it is. He makes me laugh more than cringe, whereas David Brent does make me actually cringe. So, fair enough. Any others, or is that your list?
That's my list, pretty much.
Yeah, so we got some commonality there. Well, some of the modern ones we like are Parks and Rec and The Office, I guess. I say modern. Office finished 10 years ago, didn't it? But
wasn't that long ago.
Was it not? Incredible. Okay, it feels like it. I have actually sat through it all twice. That's how much I like The Office. Parks and Rec, I've sat through 1.5.
God, 6 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, Parks and Rec, I've sat through maybe 1.5, but I will rewatch Parks and Rec. Definitely, absolutely will rewatch Parks and Rec. at some point. I'm currently rewatching Married with Children as well, season 1 onwards. So all of these deserve a rewatch. One other one I will mention that I didn't before, that because it's such a short and little run, is the Police Squad. The series that spawned
that was pretty good.
Naked Gun. Police Squad. It's only 6 episodes, but it's very funny. And it's got a similar... It reminds me quite a lot of Sledgehammer. That's why I kind of thought of it. Sledgehammer's kind of that same kind of comedy. So it's pretty good. Okay, cool. Right, we've done that. And happy birthday, Bruce. There's our thoughts on American sitcoms. We did throw in a bit of animated too, though. Okay, season 2 of Rebels. 22 episodes. Quite... the journey, this one. Overall, I kind of did like the mix of solo episodes that were more kiddie friendly and then the more serious stuff, which is more at the back end of the seasons, isn't it, really? But it grew it grew better and better, in effect, is what I'm saying. I quite like season 1, and I think season 2 is slightly better. What do you think?
It's improved. It's matured. So.
So season 1 is starts with a double episode called The Siege of Lothal, which is the Empire oppressing a planet to try.
Season 2 starts.
Sorry. Season 2, episode 1 and 2 was The Siege of Lothal. The Empire oppressing a planet called Lothal to basically weed out the rebels. Right, that's what's going on.
Yeah, it's where they've been operating from. So. And at the end of last season, if you remember, Vader arrived to sort everything out. So. He's going about sorting everything out. So
I mean, Vader is properly badass in these episodes when he appears. It's not very often, but they kind of manage to get away from Vader only just. It's very close, isn't it? But Lando,
he takes out pretty much all their fleet just with his TIE fighter.
There's a badass pilot in here. This is a very strong opening pair of episodes. But they managed to just about get away, and they get smuggled off-world by Lando, don't they? And they meet up with is Ahsoka in this one? And this one, we realise Darth Vader realises Ahsoka's still alive. The apprentice still lives or something. It says something like that. But she kind of has an interlude too, but she's basically overwhelmed, isn't she? But
she basically has a panic attack.
Yeah, so she's kind of there. I have to say, Ahsoka's really good in this season when she appears as well. She's properly. She's not like the slightly more kiddie friendly version. She's an adult, and she's doing her stuff. So basically, they find they. I don't think any of them were aware of Darth Vader before this. Is the part I got.
It was great when he showed up, and they were like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah.
The first thing they note is it just feels cold. Being near him,
and all of them feel it. Ezra and everyone, right?
Yeah.
Vader tells the Emperor about Ahsoka, and who's like, okay. And essentially, we get these new. What was the big bad in the season 1? The Grand Inquisitor.
The Grand Inquisitor, yeah.
But they got taken out. Now there's these new guys called the Inquisitors.
They're more sort of stooge-like Inquisitors.
Yeah, and the way they're named sort of suggests they're clones or something, because there's like 5, and 5th brother and 7th sister.
The 5th brother, the 7th sister, and then I think there's a 7th brother. So.
Oh, okay. And they kind of look like the same race as the... So again, they look like the same race as the Grand Inquisitors, don't they? But slightly different, maybe bigger. Well, a bit. No, they're grey-skinned and sharp tooth.
The 7th sister is the same, whatever the species is called. I think it's Myralian.
Yeah.
As Barriss Offee from Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And the 8th brothers, I think, is like a... it has a name, but I can't remember it. So yeah.
Now there's a little arc where they meet up with more possible allies. Ahsoka goes and asks them to go and find someone she trusts. She's got to go and find the help. Now I thought she was talking about Yoda actually, but it turns out they're seeing the old clone troopers from Clone Wars. So Rex and so on.
Rex, Wolf, and Gregor. So.
Wolf and Gregor. Now they don't want to be part of anything anymore. Is the kind of vibe, isn't it? And in fact, one of them, is it Wolf, shops them. Because
Wolf shoots them because he freaks out and says the Jedi are coming back to take revenge.
Yeah, and they realise they're not. But also, doesn't he also shop them to the Empire as well? But then realise this is a mistake, right? Because there's a lot of distrust, isn't there? I knew we couldn't trust clones. I knew we couldn't trust Jedis. It was all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
it's mainly drawn from Order 66. And you'll notice all the clones have you might remember at the end of Clone Wars Season 6, there was the storyline about the chips.
Yeah, and it turns out they talk about they've removed their own chips and stuff like that, which is why they weren't affected by Order 66. Didn't have free will to disobey Order 66 is probably more likely. It. But there's some nice fighting in this one. We see Wolf's got a badass sniper. I think it's Wolf. Yeah.
It was Rex.
Rex.
It's pretty funny because how casual they are about it. These TIE fighters are flying around every which way, and everyone else is panicking, but the clones are just sort of chucking weapons to each other,
just getting on with business.
They're just pot shotting the TIEs with a missile launcher.
Yeah, almost like it's shooting fish in a barrel kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bit where a probe droid attacks, and no one can hit this thing. Yeah. And Rex just picks up a rifle and pot shots it from further out than anyone else. So
yeah. So we get Callus, don't we, and Admiral Constantine. Sorry, I'm talking about the next episode, Relics of the Old Empire.
Yeah.
We get don't the crew and the clones get stranded on the planet too? So there's kind of siege thing.
Chopper's basically not done some repairs that he needed to do. So Hera's stuck up on the ship, and
let's talk about Chopper for a bit. What a nutter!
Yeah, this crazy little bugger.
He does this weird quacking noise when he's angry.
Yeah.
And he does all these crazy stuff. So anyway, they kind of land on a planet and they get AT-ATs, don't they? But there's a sandstorm which works in the good guys' favour. So they it's almost like one of them submarine films where you can't detect the enemy and you got to go slow, and but they're on foot and moving around and all this, that, and the other.
Yeah, it's kind of cool how the older tech was much more. Well, it was just better than the new stuff. Yeah. The clones were just ripping on the AT-ATs for quite a while. They're like, it's only got 4 legs. How does it even stand?
Yeah.
I think it's just going to fall over.
Yeah. Constantine gets called away by Vader. He thinks he's going to meet, but it turns out he's meeting Fifth Brother, who says, I'm going to succeed where you guys have failed, kind of.
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Right,
so there's a lot of mustache twirling endings in this one. So
yeah. So they manage to commandeer one of the AT-ATs, don't they, and then take out the rest, if I remember rightly.
Well, they use the AT-TE that they've got, that the clones had, to blow one up, and then they use the Phantom to shoot another one. Yeah. And then they just take over the third. So
yeah, it's pretty cool. So there's some good stuff going on. There's what happens next? There's always 2 there are. They basically go to a medical base for supplies, and then they encounter both.
We have actually seen these medical bases before in Clone Wars. There was a storyline. Remember in the first season there was a big storyline about a ship that could just wipe out other ships.
Vaguely.
Yeah, that started bearing down on a medical base, and that was one of these. So
okay. Anyway, we get Fifth Brother get there as well, but he encounters this other one, which he doesn't seem to know about, called Seven Sister. I don't think she gets named in this episode, but a female one who has a little robot sidekick on her shoulder.
Yeah, she has these things called parrot droids.
Yeah, oh, right, okay. She manages to catch Ezra, and Fifth Brother wants to kill him, doesn't he? But she says, no, use your brains. We use him to get the others. He's bait, basically. So there's a touch of that. So
you'll like this. Seventh Sister, voiced by Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Didn't know that. Didn't realise. Yeah. Oh, now you said it, it kind of sounds like it. Through an electronic changer, but you can hear it's her now you said it. Yeah.
It's kind of funny because she's married to the guy who voices Kanan. So she got like a little bit put in her contract that her character wouldn't fight or kill or be killed by Kanan.
Because they'd forever be making fun of each other.
They're like,
yeah. Anyway, they're after Ahsoka. Vader sent them after Ahsoka, hasn't he? So there's that. But Chopper and Zeb manages to rescue, but then Sabine gets caught too, doesn't she?
Yeah,
manages to capture them.
Zeb's able to outwit them with the Phantom again.
And Ezra's kind of freaked out about these weird Inquisitors. It's like, there are 2 of them. If we kill these, will there be 4 next time? Stuff like that. So there's all this. The next one is Brothers of the Broken Horn, where they get a distress signal, and Ezra and Chopper go see what happens. And they find Hondo, right?
They find Hondo and Vijago. So
so there's all sorts of Hondo shenanigans, which is fine. I quite like Hondo.
There's a lot of that sounds like a fair deal. It disgusts me.
Yeah,
so.
Hondo's kind of relishing his good guy, bad guy status, isn't he? Because he isn't strictly a bad guy in this series. He's more like Lando or Han, I guess. In some ways. The next one is Wings of a Master, where there's basically a Imperial blockade stopping food supplies getting through to a planet, and they're kind of trying to break it, but they don't. And they end up landing on this weird ship where there's a guy called... is he a Mon Calamari? He says he is. He looks a bit odd.
Mon-Cal. Yeah, he's like a hobbit Mon-Cal.
He's a little short guy. But basically, he's a master shipbuilder, but he's bought this weird ship, which turns out to be a B-Wing. So this is the first time we see a B-Wing. And Hera Hera proves that she's a great pilot, and she's going on about, this is a terrible planet for pilots. He goes, but a good way to weed out the good ones, right? Which is fair. And he basically gives her the keys to the B-Wing, and then we see the B-Wing be totally badass.
Yeah, it's got a Death Star style laser on the front. Where 4 go into one bit and then shoots a bigger laser. So
we never really see B-Wings do that in the main series, but this was pretty cool.
They just sort of shoot, but so I like this one. They can do that. So
it was kind of reminiscent of when Vader took out a whole thing in his TIE fighter. It was badass pilots that blowing up stuff.
She ends up just cutting these. I think they're called Corvette. They're either called Raiders or Corvettes. She's just cutting them in half with this laser.
Yeah. The next one is Blood Sisters, where they encounter this bounty hunter called Ketsu, who turns out to be an old friend of Sabine. At first I thought it was literally a sister, the way they were talking, but it wasn't. It was a friend. And then they get into shenanigans together, find they have to work together, and Ketsu kind of starts digging it and helping them and stuff like that. And in fact, Sabine could... almost gets left behind, but Ketsu goes back and they manage to get away. So they leave on better terms. So I got a feeling we might see Ketsu again. We didn't see her again in this season, but we might see her again, right? She was a pretty good character. The next one's Stealth Strike, where there's a new weapon which generates a thing called a gravity well, which is a thing that can pull ships out of hyperspace.
This is the interdictor.
Yeah, so this feels a bit more like Star Trek than Star Wars, that kind of when tech becomes a thing, right? But anyway, they have stuff there. They use Rex to sort of infiltrate the cruiser to get on board. But Kanan's still not entirely sure about Rex, so there's a bit of a problem. So basically, there's a big old fight. They get away either on the ships or escape pods. And Chopper's been up to his shenanigans and calls the gravity well to go completely bonkers. In fact, there's one point goes, "Chopper, didn't you disable it?" And he's going, "A bit," and he's kind of laughing. But basically, the well goes wrong, and all the Imperial cruisers sort of start crashing into the main ship, which is kind of funny. Made me laugh. I like this one. Yeah, this is a good one. The next one was the future of the Force. So basically, Ahsoka's still trying to figure out Darth Vader, but she can't find much information on him. Hold on.
This is the one where they're basically trying to stop the Inquisitors kidnapping children.
Yeah, it's pretty dark, right? They're trying to...
Yeah.
And they're like, why would they be kidnapping children? What's going on here? But they're basically for hunting for Force-sensitive children, presumably to feed the Emperor's little protective force or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
It is interesting how these super badass Force beings just seem to be hanging around and no one's heard of them, like the Inquisitors. But secret weapons, presumably.
Well, I guess Inquisitors are something you'd probably want to keep on the down low.
Yeah, I guess so.
Inquisitor doesn't send a good message. So
we get some baby looking after baby shenanigans. Doesn't Zeb have to look after the baby at one point?
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
He gets chased by Inquisitors, because the baby starts crying and it's really easy to follow and all this. And Zeb's like, got a bit of a problem. He says, he's been chased by 2 Inquisitors. But they... Unfortunately, during all the shenanigans, one of the little, I don't know, parrot droids or probe droids or whatever, overhears a conversation where Ezra says which planet they're going to, so they kind of got a lead. Next one is Legacy, where Ezra has a dream about his parents. He thinks they might still be alive. They go there, and is this the one where they encounter the old fella?
Yeah.
It's
the one where they encounter...
I've forgotten his name.
Who's he played? No, I'm trying to think who he's played by. It's the Kurgan. So.
Clancy Brown, Ryder Azadi.
Yeah.
I didn't recognise his voice. That's interesting. Ryder Azadi. Oh, they follow. There's a cat jumping around too. His cat is jumping.
Yeah, there's a lot of cats. So.
Yeah. So. They talk about how Ezra's parents arranged a prison break and how that was like the beginning of the rebellion. So even though his parents died,
it was they organised the prison break because they heard his message, what he said.
Which makes it quite a complex thing because it's like, well, if I hadn't sent that message, would my parents be alive? It's all that, which they don't really explore, but they must be there.
Yeah.
So Ezra's finally learned for sure his parents are dead. And we get a bit of Princess Leia in the next one, that young Princess Leia.
Princess on Lothal.
So Leia's there, meets up with them. She notices Ezra's sad, goes and talks to him a bit.
Basically all the Alderaan is kind of running a scam on the Empire.
Yeah, they're
flying relief out to different planets in multiple cruisers, and then their cruisers conveniently get stolen by the Rebel Alliance.
And there is all that, and there's like, they won't get stolen on my watch, Princess, and they do. So it's like, and she kind of has to go along with it. At one point, he has to shoot. Ezra has to shoot her, doesn't he? Pretend she's because she's pretending to be a hostage while she's helping him, right? So again we get gravity locks and this locking him in place, but they have to get away. But anyway, they manage to succeed, and at this point the old fella Ryder joins in, kind of thing.
Yeah, he agrees to actually help.
Yeah,
so.
That's kind of cool. The next one's called The Protector of Concord Dawn, where, again, we're back to Lothal, and they're working out... they go to a world... Hold on. There's Mandalorians get involved in this one,
they
right?
basically end up with running around with some Mandalorians for a bit.
Called the Protectors? Called the Protectors?
Yeah. This is the introduction of the Protectors, who are a counter thing to Death Watch.
Okay.
From Clone Wars. Now, at the end of the episode, Sabine has to reveal that she is part of House Vizsla.
Oh,
which
okay.
is Death Watch.
Yeah. So we find out she's like
she's related to Pre Vizsla, who was the Mandalorian villain in Clone Wars. So.
Yeah. They basically there's a bit of shenanigans with the Mandalorians, and it's a bit contrived. They kind of capture him, but somehow that you've acted with honour, we'll give you a safe passage, or something like that. It's a bit.
Yeah.
But weird. Anyway, the next one was the Legends of the Lasat. They get a tip from Hondo, of all people, about these Lasats who are in Imperial custody. And Zeb gets recognised, I should have said Zeb is a Lasat, right? As a captain of the last Lassan Honour Guard.
Yeah.
And they're searching for this mythical world called Lirasan, where Lassats will give Zeb's
It's basically the Jews and Canaan.
Yeah.
That's the analog they're going for.
And Zeb's doesn't want to get involved because he still feels guilt over not being able to protect his people from the Empire, right? So I don't know, there's some weird thing where Zeb takes his bow rifle and puts it with a staff, and he makes this magic mapping thing.
He makes a map to the new world, basically.
Yeah.
It's
protected
strange.
by a cluster of black holes or something. So they basically guiding their people home, right? And they talk about stuff that sounds a bit like the dark and the light side of the Force as well. Don't they? So the Force...
Ashla and the Bogan, so...
Yeah, they basically saying the Force exists in many... it's called many things and exists in many ways for different races is the idea, kind of thing.
Yeah.
The next one is called the Call. They have to catch a fuel shipment. Basically, the entire rebel fleet's running out of fuel. And they encounter these weird... Is it like... I'm trying to think. They're like whales,
they're
aren't
space whales.
Whale octopuses.
Purgil, they're space whales.
They all seem to be going the way. Same. Isn't there at one point they encounter the Empire and they just run with the whale things and don't get seen or something like that? So essentially, these whales are heading the same way as them. So maybe they're attracted or something. But basically, there's a plot to say, well, if we blow this part of the fuel, we'll create a diversion. But blowing that part of the fuel will kill the animals. And Ezra senses we really shouldn't do that. These are sentient beings, kind of. So he doesn't want to do that. So he changes the plot right at the last second. He's like, "What are you doing? Change your plot." They kind of improvise. That's cool. And they then witness these whales fly. Have got their own natural hyperspace drive or something. So how about that? So there's a FTL drive inside these whales. Yeah, fine. Okay, that's all cool. Okay. The next one is Homecoming, which is Ryloth, Hera's home planet. She has to go back, and we meet her father, who's been a bit of a dick because he's obsessed and not been paying attention to his daughter. So there's a familial sort of dissonance, discord there. So there's all that going on. Ezra's force powers are slowly growing through all of this, isn't there? He tries the Jedi mind trick and all this, that, and the other, and he's trying to levitate things. So there's all that going on. He's getting stronger and stronger. And also, I have to say, Kanan comes across more and more as a Jedi as this goes on too. I know he always was one, but it just feels like he was not quite a Jedi, but it's kind of coming along quite well. Daughter and father kind of reconcile at the end, don't they? And they go their separate ways. The next one is the Honourable Ones. Now, this is an interesting old trope. This is where enemies get shoved together in bad circumstances and have to work together to survive. We saw it in one of the Planet of the Apes TV episodes, didn't we? Where Burke and Urko fall down a pit, an old subway, and have to work together to get out. It's based on the first, I think, famous one of it is there was an old film with Tony Curtis and Sidney Poitier chained together, and I think that was called The Valiant Ones or something like that. It sounded a bit like The Honourable Ones. And there's even a whole film, a sci-fi film called Enemy Mine, which uses the same premise, but this does the same. Essentially, it's Callus.
Callus and Zeb end up in a hole on Geonosis.
And it's cold. The elements are against them. There's weird monsters. They kind of have to work together. And the Callus admits he took He took credit for sort of a massacre, but he didn't know what else to do. He wasn't into it. He didn't really get involved. So they kind of open up to each other and understand each other a little better, don't they?
Yeah.
And they've got a rescue radio, and it's the race to, are they rescued by the Phantom or by the Empire? And the good guys get there first, but Zeb kind of leaves him there, doesn't he? He says, we'll look after you if you want to come. It doesn't kill him, he just leaves him there with his heated up stone thing. And it's kind of an interesting closing scene here. We see Kallus go back to his little bare, bed and just put the lighted up stone on the side like it's an ornament. But the rest of his cabin is bare, and it's like...
Yeah.
And it's definitely why am I fighting for these people kind of vibe at the end, right?
Yeah.
I kind of liked it. I thought it was quite a deep episode, actually.
Yeah.
Did you like this one?
Kallus is one of my favourite characters from this
Really?
series.
That's interesting. Because he's a bit neutral up to this point, I found.
Yeah, he's kind of just a bit... Like I said earlier, there's a lot of mustache twirling, and most of it is from Kallus.
Yeah.
So,
but we're finding out there's more to him than that, and he actually doesn't like that role particularly. It's one he takes, but he's not really a fan of it.
Yeah.
Okay, next episode, Shroud of Darkness. So Ezra and Kanan facing off against Inquisitors start to feel that they're harming the chances of the rebels, and they decide they will need to go talk to Ahsoka. And they set off for a Jedi with Ahsoka.
They
to
go
Jedi
back
temple.
to Lothal and go to the Jedi Temple there. They all have their own little visions of stuff going on.
Yeah, and Ezra's has got Yoda, right? So that's cool.
Yeah, Ezra's got Yoda. Kanan has the Grand Inquisitor revealing that he was actually one of the temple guards.
Yeah, weird.
From the Jedi Temple.
And Ahsoka comes to the realisation that Vader is Anakin, which is could have been done a little better, but it was kind of quite a nice shock. And it could have been a bit of no or something like that, but you've got to be careful of that in Star Wars, maybe.
Yeah. I like it when you do that in Star Wars.
Yeah. The Inquisitors also are on their trail, but Yoda tells Ezra to find Malachor. And there's all sorts of prophecies and meanings and stuff like that. But also, Kanan becomes officially a Jedi Knight, right?
Yeah, he gets knighted.
He gets knighted, so he actually becomes a Jedi. Because of Order 66, he never quite got there, but he's now a Jedi Knight. Ahsoka still feels guilty about not being around at the fall of the Jedi. But she knows that Vader is Anakin. So they escape, and they find out... Ezra talks about Malachor, but Ahsoka says that's a place. It's not a person. So that's kind of cool. Then we have a bit of an interlude before we get into the final few episodes, which are pretty epic, actually. We get one where Chopper... They go on a mission to steal fuel. It's a goofy mission, really. Chopper finds a leg he wants. And I can't quite work this out because the leg's massive compared to him. I don't quite get it, but he steals a leg.
I think that may be the joke. So.
Yeah, and basically they think Chopper's still on the ship, so they take off and leave. And while Chopper's running around this planet being chased by Imperials, he gets on this ship, and there's an inventory droid, AP5, who's kind of been really maltreated by the captain there and all this. But AP5
is another character I really like. He's Marvin the paranoid android.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. He feels a bit like a C-3PO standing, but he's not a C-3PO by any means. Like you say, it's more like Marvin. He's kind of a bit officious. I know I've logged everything on this ship, and you're not part of it, so you must be. Yeah. Chopper's like, he goes, woo. It's all this. But he sees that Chopper's fighting the humans, and it kind of breaks his programming or something, right? Chopper does all this clever stuff like suck all the guards off into space or into the next.
You need to speed up saying that, please.
Or not into space, but into the ship that they're leaving behind, I think it is. I'm not quite sure, but the captain's still knocked out and with them, and they're kind of doing stuff and trying to contact Ghost, but the captain wakes up and start shooting at them, but they got to send these coordinates to help. Basically, they're saying, don't go to this place, it's full of Empire or something like that. And they got to send coordinates for where the fleet should escape to, and this captain's shooting at them. He shoots AP5, but Chopper takes him out, really. But then they repair him using the parts from the leg that Chopper stole. And it turns out he's not a grateful Torna, and the two of them start, haranguing each other, basically. Bit of banter. Robot banter. While the crew just look at each other like, what have we done? Kind of. Right, the second... Well, there's 3 episodes left, but the last 2 are one big episode, really. Then the second to last one is Mystery of Chopper Base, where they find a planet without the Empire and where the rebels can sort of hole up. But then they found a scout's gone missing. And then they find there's these gigantic spider things that seem to be immune from blasters or not that damaged by blasters. And the ghost's been tied down by a web and all this. But they find out sensor beacons kind of repel the spiders. So they kind of use that and get away. The spider Ezra starts trying to communicate with one of the spiders using the Force, but he won't have it, and stuff like that. So basically, they create a barrier around the spiders where they're safe, and they decide they're going to head to this place called Malachor and deal with the Inquisitors. And then this one's super badass, and probably my favourite pair of episodes of the whole lot we've watched so far.
Twilight of the Apprentice is a really good.
It's up there with me with the episodes about like the Sith witches, from Clone Wars. Are really good. In fact, I think this might be my favourite of the whole lot. Actually, they get to this place which is a Sith planet, and there's a Sith. A temple, and they meet this weird old hermit. It's a bit, I don't know, I want to say Gollum, but he's not Gollum, he's just a weird old hermit who we eventually find out is Maul, Darth Maul. Maul. And I kind of suspected
no longer Darth anymore.
No, he specifically says that. He hates everyone, in effect. So they find out all these dead Jedis and Sith.
These Jedi have been they've been like turned to carbon, pretty much. Like, whatever happened to them was bad.
They encounter another Inquisitor, who's the 8th brother. And the other 2 turn up too. So there's basically 3 Inquisitors there. And it is weird how much more they use their weird spinning lightsabers as helicopters. Which, if you think about it, doesn't make sense at all.
No, they did specify that there's. I think it was either David Filoni or Pablo Hidalgo. Guys who like work on it, they were like, there's some sort of anti-gravity thing on the handle.
Okay, fair enough.
It's for intimidation. You don't want to see like a spinning lightsaber coming at you through the sky.
But they can also use it for flying about, right? So they basically, all this kicks off, and we find out this guy's Maul, and he wants to help Ezra get to the temple and discover the truth.
There's a Sith holocron that he's looking for.
So essentially, the Inquisitors arrive and tell Darth Vader there, and Vader decides to rock up. And
he shows up in the most extra fashion I've ever seen.
Standing on top of a TIE fighter, isn't it?
Yeah, he's just stood on top of his TIE fighter. I'm guessing piloting it with the Force. Slowly lowering himself onto this temple.
So basically, we find out Maul's got his own agenda. He wants to destroy all his enemies, is how he puts it. And who his enemies are is not clear.
Well, it's clearly Sith and Jedi.
It's both. He just wants to destroy them all, right? He appears to blind Kanan with his lightsaber.
He blinds Kanan.
He does. Okay. And he says, he wants to make Ezra his own apprentice. So Kanan puts on the Jedi Temple guard mask.
Puts on like a Sentinel mask,
and he stops Maul chasing after Ezra. Ahsoka's
he just throws him off the temple.
It's badass.
That's pretty cool. Ahsoka shows up to where Vader's confronting Ezra. And starts probably one of the best fights in the series.
She says, he's talking to her, and he says, Anakin is dead. And she says, well, I will get my revenge for him or something like that. And he goes, revenge is not a Jedi way. And she's, I'm not a Jedi. That's pretty badass.
Oh, that's so cool.
Kick off. And she's a really good fighter. You know, obviously it's Darth Vader, so he's like...
There's this kind of funny moment where Ezra's just watching him. He just goes, "I need more training."
Yeah, I need more training. And there's a badass fight. She actually hits him across the face and reveals part of his face. And he gets the weird wheezy noise that Darth Vader gets sometimes, but he's not incapacitated in any way. But we see Anakin's weird yellow eye, you know, when he gets force possessed or Sith possessed.
They brought back the guy who voiced him in Clone Wars.
Okay.
To do his actual... that's
cool.
Voice,
that's cool.
Before this, it's been James L. Jones.
James L. Jones, yeah. So basically, they get the holocron. The machine, the planet becomes like this big weapon. But they manage to get, by using Kanan and Ezra, the master and apprentice, they can pull the holocron out, which means the planet then starts to explode. So they got this holocron, but they escape. But they, you know, Ahsoka's still fighting Darth Vader. So Ezra wants to go back, but she force pushes him back, right?
Force pushes him out of the slowly closing temple. And just carries on fighting Vader.
And you just see them fighting as the door, or whatever it is, the wall starts closing down. And as they fly away, the whole planet appears to blow up.
Yeah, well, the weapon sort of fires. And doesn't really, so... Yeah,
but anyway, we know Vader lives. We know Vader lives, but we don't know about Ahsoka at this point, right?
Ahsoka, well, what appears to show is her go further into the temple. So
so there's something going on there, but it kind of that bit's a bit of a cliffhanger. Then
we see Ezra open the Sith holocron. So. Yes,
he does something, and then we also see Maul get away as well.
Yeah, Maul steals a TIE fighter and runs. So.
So it's weird that he can open a Sith holocron, right? So that again is a bit of a cliffhanger. So we don't know what's happened. Man, great ending! What a great ending! Really enjoyed this. So overall, good series. I wouldn't say there was any particularly weak episodes. Really, I mean, there was definitely episodes which were
the whale
way better than the
others. Pretty.
I didn't mind it though. It entertained me. It entertained me. And even the goofy ones, you know, Chopper running around a planet with an arm. Oh, sorry, a leg. I kind of liked. There were and most of it was less kiddie friendly than the first season.
Yeah.
Still suitable for kids, but just not completely oriented towards kids, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some new characters. You know, there was Ketsu. Interesting.
Yeah.
And possibly.
Well, no, I was going to say we got the Inquisitors. No. Yeah. Maul kills most of them. So
yeah, Maul just is devastatingly good, except against Kanan. Weirdly,
yeah.
It would have been nice to see Maul fight Vader, but that didn't.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
But that didn't happen. I was trying to work. I couldn't quite say Maul hasn't got robot legs in it, or it don't appear to be. Robot legs.
Well, they're
just normal robot legs now, are they?
Yeah,
they weren't like those weird. Yeah, they were weird. You
could get them like swapped out at some point in the Clone Wars. So
okay, cool. Yeah. All right then, I think we'll wind up there. I really enjoyed this. I'll look forward to we'll get to season 3 at some point soon. I think we're kind of trying to gear up to watch all these before the next Star Wars, which is in about 5 months from now.
December, so yeah.
Yeah, so we're trying to there's how many is there? 5?
There's 4 series.
4 series. So we've watched 2. We've got 2 more left. So that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Not sure.
Next series has 22 episodes. Well, it's got a few like double length episodes.
Yeah, and then the last one's 14. I think.
Has 16.
16. So. I know it was a bit shorter than the others, but that's cool. Yeah. They're very easy to watch. Actually, they are very easy to watch and enjoy. So it makes cramming. It doesn't feel as much as a chore as some other crams we've done. But I quite enjoyed this. So overall, pretty solid series, I'd say. Cool. All right then, let's wind up there. So bye from me.
Bye.